everybody. I have an update on the housing situation coming to you from the United States all the way to France. This week on Let's Buy a Chateau, I have an update on the buying process. First of all, sold. The house is sold. I talked about it a little bit last time. Things are progressing because there's so many steps that need to be taken when selling a house here in the United States. We're going to break it all down. And in case you are curious, this is what our house looks like. This is where we live here in the US. It's an amazing neighborhood. I mean, it's quiet. It's wonderful. We have a nice big yard, wonderful schools. This is not why we're leaving. This is all wonderful. We've been in this house about 3.5 years, almost 4 years. And it has been amazing for us. But it's not in France. And this is the backyard. It's absolutely amazing. Not only do you just have the house here, but there's a screen porch, which is perfect on those summer evenings where you don't want the bugs, fall evenings where you don't want the bugs. But also when you look out on the yard, it's 2 levels, the lower level, the upper level. All the flowers up here about to come in for the summer. So here's how it's going. We accepted an offer on our house, which I told you about before. It was a contingent offer, which means our buyers needed to sell their current house to be able to buy this house. That contingency has been removed. We just had the appraisal conducted, and now the next step is the inspection, and that happens on Monday, and that's when they go through the whole house. They check every light switch, every plug-in, all of the faucets to make sure that they're functioning, that they're not leaking, things like that. That's one more hurdle. Once we pass that, it really is smooth sailing to closing. So there you have it. That is the latest on what's happening here in the United States with our house. So all great things, honestly. When I said I was going to be selling my house, I did have a handful of people saying, oh, it's going to be terrible. Oh, it's so hard right now, blah, blah, blah. It's just as I thought. I am a real estate agent here in the US, so I do know my local market. And like I said before, we were under contract in 8 days. Yes, it was a contingent buyer, but those buyers, when they put their house on the market, it just took a day. Let's talk about the house in France. I bet you'd like to hear about that. Things are moving right along with that as well. I'm going to show you a little bit more of the property today. We still have not signed our compromis de vente, which is essentially the purchase agreement, because we do have a draft and it is written up. There's one more part we are waiting on. While I was told it was all on city water and city sewer, turns out it's not. You also may remember a different property I backed out of a deal before the compromis de vente was written up, because it had a fosse that was questionable. The fosse is a septic system. It was not compliant, and there were many, many, many questions about if it could be or how it could be. And I'm not willing to gamble potentially $15,000 or more on a maybe, and I'll get here and find out answer. That's not good enough for me. I'm not going to take that kind of gamble. That's reckless. My clients would never in a million years do that, and I'm not going to do that. So with this one, we're waiting on an estimate from a plumber about hooking up one of the cottages on site to the main drainage. Yeah. And I will not sign it until I know how much it is, because I am not willing to get a big old surprise. Now, the personal property in this place is beautiful. And they're taking a lot of it with them. They're not leaving me, I don't believe, a scrap of anything. They offered several items up for sale, and we couldn't come to an agreement on price. We didn't debate a whole lot because I saw how much they wanted for a couple of things, and I have seen what I believe, items that I could get at the brocantes, like the secondhand shops, antique shops, flea markets. I've seen what people typically pay for these items, and they don't line up for me based on what the sellers want for these items and what I think and hope I can get at the local brocantes and places like that. So I'm going to chance it, and I'm going to go out and source my own. And a little tidbit, when you're buying a house in France, it does not guarantee you get the light fixtures. And in my case, nope. I'm not even getting the light fixtures. No chandeliers, no lanterns, no anything cool. It will simply be a wire hanging out of the ceiling with a light bulb on it. Because actually in the purchase agreement for the house in France, it does say something to the effect of you have to leave the light bulb, a light bulb. So that's something new that Americans should know. Not only are you not guaranteed any of the furniture, and additionally appliances. In the United States, a lot of times we leave the kitchen appliances. Most of the time. Once in a while, I will have a client say, I just bought this refrigerator and I want to take it with me. Unless they want to pay me X amount for it, then I'll leave it. I've only had someone want to take their refrigerator maybe a couple of times in 7 years as an agent. So guess what's happening here? We're paying for the fridge and freezer. It's a full-size American style, so it's big, which is great. Yeah, we're buying that. We're also buying off of the sellers their washer and dryer. Yeah, a dryer. These people have a dryer, just like we do in the United States. Clothes washer, clothes dryer. They've got it. I want one, and as long as it's functioning as they say it is, I'm buying theirs. So they can leave that in place. I don't have to worry about getting delivery and installation. Oh my gosh, can you imagine? There is a dishwasher installed. I don't know if that will still be there when I get there. There was a stove in the house when I saw it. I'm not expecting to see that when I get there. It's just how it's done. We're gonna walk into a house with walls and floors, but there will be a fridge and a freezer and a clothes washer and a clothes dryer and light bulbs hanging from the ceiling. That's what there will be. So that'll be fun. But isn't the fun of getting a new place, sourcing the items? It can be spendy, but we'll do that while we're still living here in the US and we go and visit. We're still working here, saving, but also we'll have some money made to go and furnish the place there. So that's a big step. And again, it takes about 3 months to close on the property there. So we're told sometime by mid-September. If anybody has any tips on hot deals for furniture and possibly appliances in the department of the VN, shoot your info my way. I will need their assistance in the coming months. We'll see you next time.